Hello, welcome back to Fist Entertainment. For just a short time, my last review for today. I might come back and review the last two of my Universal Monster films before day's end. But likelihood of that is probably slim. Probably do those tomorrow. And don't worry, we're still on time. These will all be uploaded very quickly. I have very fast internet. So let's show off Steelbook with the plastic sleeve on top of it. We will be reviewing what is really known as the most popular one of these films, and that would be 1935's The Bride of Frankenstein. Look at that, that's wonderful artwork. How many people that have been curious up to this point what the back does look like with the plastic sleeve on? It looks like that. Tells you everything and stuff like that. That's what I'm reading from. But nothing to write home about in terms of artwork. Well, let's read the plot synopsis first. In one of the most popular horror films of all time, The Bride of Frankenstein, Boris Karloff replenishes his role as the silver screen's most misunderstood monster who now longs for a mate. Continuing exactly where the original left off, the critically acclaimed sequel introduces Dr. Paracelsus, Ernest Thesigenzer, I think is how you pronounce his name, is a deranged scientist who forces Henry Frankenstein, again played by Colin Clive from the first film, to help him create a companion for the monster, once again directed by James Whale and adapted from Mary Shelley's classic novel. The sequel features outstanding makeup and special effects, instantly making The Bride of Frankenstein one of the most recognizable monsters of all time. And The Bride of Frankenstein is played by Esther Leicester, something like that. But yeah, the makeup is very well used. Now, what's interesting is the actress who plays the Bride of Frankenstein also plays Mary Shelley in the movie. And you have to watch all the documentary stuff and really do your research to figure this out. But Mary Shelley's novel actually does play with pretty much The Bride of Frankenstein in the book. There is not a second book, but it was always her attention in her novel to actually have the story that's told in this movie is a part of that story. So that's interesting. Also, might add that the prologue talking about the previous Frankenstein movie going into Bride of Frankenstein, you actually have Mary Shelley in Lord Byron talking about the book. Talking about The Bride of Frankenstein as if it was a potential sequel to that book. So I find that very interesting. That's really cool way of introducing a sequel. Ingenious. I don't know why you have never done that since, but that is genius. Going ahead and having the writers of the book in which the original film was inspired by introducing the sequel was a work of genius, in my opinion. Well, why is Frankenstein from 31 a better movie to me than 35's The Bride of Frankenstein? It's because Frankenstein 31 is a lot more serious than The Bride of Frankenstein. But I go back and forth because The Bride of Frankenstein is just such an iconic movie in terms of Boris Karloff's performance. At this time, he actually is closer to the novel character because of the fact that he speaks a lot in the movie. But he does it in a very childish way, which I think is very cool, a very childlike way. You know, like with this little dialogue being like, drink, good, food, good, smoke, good, fire, no good. I just like the way he talks in the movie. It's kind of outerworldly. It really has a lot of fun things that I can say about the performance of Boris Karloff is the monster in the sequel. Unfortunately, Boris Karloff would not return to play Frankenstein until I believe either the House of Frankenstein or the House of Dracula. One of those two. No, he is actually the House of Dracula. Oh no, it might be the House of Frankenstein. One of those two. Oh no. Neither one of those actually. It's Ellen and Costello meet Frankenstein in a Wolfman or something like that. I think is the only other time we see Boris Karloff play the role of the Frankenstein monster in all the subsequent sequels, which we will not be covering as a part of this event. We're just doing the landmark movies. I hope you can appreciate that. Well, quality. Film's not rated. It came out in 1935. It is in 1.3, 3.1 full frame. It is presented in DTS HDMA. So a DTS HD Master Audio version of the monorail tracks that the film had in the 1930s. It is 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes long. And it's definitely a crowd blazer. This is really the most iconic Universal Monster movie ever made. That really is what this is. This is the most iconic one. None of the films before it, none of the films after it in the Universal showcase of the old Universal Monsters, of the original Monsterverse, is on the level that this film is on. This is really the most important one out of them all. All right, well let's show off the artwork on the steelbook itself in the signature. I'm trying to figure out which signature it actually is. It's not Boris Karloff's. It might be the director. But here is the artwork. And for people that do know the signatures a little bit better, I'm going to come in a little closer, and maybe one of you fans out there can tell me if that's Karloff's signature. If I get it in focus. Yeah, there we go. That's Karloff's signature or somebody else's signature. I know that on the Frankenstein steelbook it's Karloff's signature, but I don't think there's Karloff's signature on this one. Doesn't look like it. And well, that's all there's to say about The Bride of Frankenstein. It has been a pleasure talking about these movies, and I look forward to talking about the other two I have, which is the Wolfman and Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is going to be fun because it's the one Universal Monster film out of these that is in widescreen and also is in 3D. And I don't mean cardboard glass 3D, I mean legit 3D. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for my review of the Wolfman, and then after that, my review of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, 3D. Until then, I hope everybody stays safe, and I have enjoyed this, hopefully as much as you have. And I look forward to doing more. Until then.